Aquarius, thank you for choosing me for your November Astro Tarot forecast. I am shuffling the Haunted House Tarot that I used for the psychic readings that I uploaded yesterday. This is by Sasha Graham. It's super spooky, and I'm in love with the imagery. It's brand new. So if you want the full reading, please watch the videos I uploaded yesterday for the full tarot spread. I'll still pull a few cards like I do, but this is the astrology for November, and there's a lot going on. So let's start with our new moon on the 7th of November at 15 degrees of Scorpio in the 10th house of career. I feel it's interesting that Jupiter has just spent the last year in Scorpio and will be making a big transit on the 8th, one day after the new moon arrives in this career sector where Jupiter has just spent the last year elevating you. And I think on the 7th, it's your day to prove that you have implemented something very profound and supreme and positive in your career. I feel like you're initiating a start. You are initiating something newly developed. Maybe you've branded yourself for the last year and the website's coming up on the 7th, or the sales pitch is around there, or a big sale is happening. There's something very fresh and new in terms of how you are working, your title and your elevation in your career, so congratulations to you. On the 8th, Jupiter moves out of that sector and enters your 11th house for a full year and 3 weeks. So until December 2nd of 2019, Jupiter will then be in the 11th house of the internet and your social sector, getting out there and contacts, friendships, and I want to say things you've been missing for the last year because you've been really buried in your work or really thrown into something else. But this says to me, it's time for you to be more social and be out there, and you're going to be online a lot this next year. The 11th house is the higher technologies and devices, and you could be using the internet to expand your business in a way that you haven't before. Either way, this is about elevation, and the 11th house is also your goals, and you'll be achieving them this year in a big way. And they don't all have to apply to career. They are social, so I feel like there is a strong connection with Aquarians' friendships that bring them up and out somehow. There is a elevation to who you are connecting to. On the 15th, Mars enters Pisces and will remain there until the very last day of this year. On the 31st of December, he will leave, but Mars enters your money sign. He spent 6 months with you in the first house of self and body, making you take action in ways you probably thought you couldn't before. And it could have made you very assertive and aggravated even, but you've got a lot accomplished because he was with you for such a long time in his retrograde. But there could have been some anger that came up in the last several months, or an aggressiveness to Aquarius. But now he moves into the money sector where he can really generate some wealth for you. Mars in Pisces from the 15th of November through the 31st of December will increase your income in the second house of money. And it's also about your confidence, your self-worth, valuing yourself, putting yourself above others in not a selfish way, but a necessary way. I think that Aquarius is used to helping others out and being there, or has been, but now it's a little bit of a time to generate your own path and to do so with confidence, because the second house is confidence and your own self-worth, and it's generated upward. On the 16th, Venus goes direct at 25 degrees of Libra in your 9th house of certification and travel. And Mercury retrogrades that same day on the 16th of November through December 6th at 13 degrees of Sagittarius, the sector that Jupiter just entered. So The 11th house of the internet, even though that's activated the full year for you and your social goals and friendships and connections, from the 16th of November through the 6th of December, Mercury will create a little bit of glitches in that internet connection for you. It's a time when technologies slow down a little and go on the fritz. So you might find some trouble with getting computers and phones to work appropriately, especially when a retrograde occurs in the 11th house of technology. So be patient. It's just a temporary thing. I would not purchase any big gadgets or devices in that time frame. Anything from a refrigerator to a computer would be a no. Just wait until after the 6th of December, because I feel like you'll have to return it or need to work on it a few times. So also, when Mercury retrogrades in the 11th, you'll hear from friends you haven't heard from in a really long time. And that could include lovers or intimacies as well. People that you used to connect with tend to come back into the picture when Mercury retrogrades in a social sector. So that would be the 11th house. On the 22nd, the Sun enters Sagittarius, conjunct the Mercury retrograde and Jupiter. So the 11th house is very powerful for you. If you did not have an online presence before now, you will. I feel like you are interested in putting yourself out there. It feels like Aquarius is coming out of hiding, and good for you. On the 23rd, there's a full moon at 0 degrees of Gemini, bringing closure to the 5th house of romance for you and true love. Some Aquarians are putting relationships to bed and ending. The full moon brings endings, awareness, and all things you needed to know. There's a revealing kind of energy around a full moon, and Aquarius has this closure in the 5th house of true love, romance, passion. So some of you are closing the door on a connection and preparing yourself for what's to come in 2019, because I think you have strong relationship potential next year. Let's see what the Tarot has to say, and please feel free to watch the previous upload that I put up yesterday for a full tarot reading. This is just a few cards that I like to draw in the Astro Tarot forecast. Let me know what you think of these videos in comparison to one another. I would like to do both, but it is a lot of work. Just see how it goes. I know I've been doing the tarot readings, which I totally enjoy. That's what I do every day. And then I do the Astro Tarot forecast. Just let me get your insight on that. Leave a comment below. And also, if you like private counsel, I'm available at audreyalison.com. Here are your cards for the month, Aquarius. 6 of Swords, travel, and redirection, I want to say. The 6 of Swords, swords rule the mind and thought and direction. So there could be some rocky waters ahead of you, or you're in the midst of them now. Let's see what else is here. The Devil. This is restriction and what has limited you. Some of you had to get away with a trip in order to relieve yourself from a burden or something that had you in chains, feeling limited, getting away from habit, addiction, vice, what has restricted you. Let's see what else is here. 7 of Swords. I love this card. It's so dramatic. But she's protecting herself from those 2 people in the darkness. The 7 of Swords is some hostility and harsh words and expression that come from the need to defend yourself. And someone could have been saying some really harsh things to you. And it could have to do with this devil energy, putting you down or keeping you under their thumb. Wow. 7 of Swords, or 7 of Wands, and the 7 of Swords. This is defensiveness too. But fighting, argument, taking action and getting away from something. And I would say something that you needed to get away from. Travel is always your friend. in that if you remove yourself from an environment, it's easier for you to see clarity and have clarity of your thoughts when you're out of your environment. I'm sorry that things look a little heavy here in these cards. Please watch that other reading. I don't know if the cards are similar or if they match up. I'll have to do some investigating myself, but I'm hoping it was helpful for you. And if you did get out of something, I think you made the right call. If you didn't, and this is just about defensiveness or protection of your product at work, although I didn't get coin cards, I feel like you need to create your brand, promote it online, copyright it as necessary, protect yourself legally now that Venus is direct in the 9th house of law. And I think things will be smooth for you. It's really, you're branching out, you're putting yourself out there to show the world when Jupiter's in the 11th house. So that'll be good for you. Thank you for choosing me, Aquarius. I'm wishing you a beautiful Thanksgiving. There's so much to be grateful for. And remember, the sky is limitless, so reach for the stars.